I'm sweating. Hi, patrons and friends. Good to see you. It's been a long old time. Um, and that's because I've been doing super interesting things in the quote real world, and that's why you've all been so horribly neglected, and I apologize. Um, Yeah, I'm sweating because I just did a test run of filming in this space. If anyone saw the burlesque, the summer burlesque of a few weeks ago, and now it's like fucking fall, so um, that was my last video. Um, you will have noticed that I am now living in a completely fabulous, but tiny little space, and it is not conducive to doing dance indoors, which is fine because outdoors there are so many amazing places to dance, and I want to go dance in them. There's just the little matter of figuring out how to not get my camera stolen dancing on public monuments in Berlin, and if that's even legal. And I'm looking for an accomplice to do this project with me, to complete Ernestine Emerges, which I began in spring. Oh my god, time is going by in a very strange way, at the same time extremely fastly. Oh, I saw my Trump. Oh, sorry. And at the has anyone else noticed that the word smartly has become common parlance? Can we fucking not, please? Jesus Christ. Vote. I'm yelling really loud. If I'm in Berlin and I can request my ballot, so can you. Anyway, um yeah, so man, I just really don't like the video I just made because I was too busy like trying not to fall all over myself. That and I have a new friend, new friend. Yeah, so the ankle's still in recovery. I was about to say frustratingly enough. No, we're not framing like that anymore. She needed some time off. She needed a break. I was a little, well, I fell off my fucking bike. That's what happened to her. And we have a very special relationship now. I feel like I'm starting to develop individual conversations and relationships with each of the body parts that I've maligned in my body, which means my back and I talk, my hamstrings and I have good chats, especially when I'm on my yoga mat. My ankles and I we converse. Um, and it's all part of this trying to build. I'm not. I've spoken 4 languages today. 4. Between clients, well, with clients, texting back and forth in various languages. And one of my clients speaks 3 of my languages: German, French, or German, Italian, and English. And it's just such a mind fuck. It's like, how do multilingual people like just switch back and forth? Apparently it's a skill in and of itself that I have not yet mastered. So heaven help me. But yeah, oh my god, life has been so interesting. One of the reasons that I've uh, been vanished from all aspects of my life, including work, has been an extension of work. In that, in the past month, at the beginning of August, we decided that we were complete. And by we, I mean me and this badass little activist group that we created called SWAG, the Sex Workers Activist Group of Berlin, decided that we were sick and tired and fed up with the government having shitty responses towards corona regulations for whores. And so we made a whole action week where we had all of these different liberal, feminist, and queer positive, etc., like organizations, Antifa organizations, which is strangely not a bad word here. You can like be Antifa and not be expected to throw bombs at people. Is that, can Americans sort of wrap their heads around that? Here it's just another thing you say about yourself, like feminist, like, by the way, I'm anti-fascist too, I'm Antifa. And it's like an adjective, which should be normalized. It should be okay to be anti-fascist. And just because someone made an acronym about it, oh my god, don't get me started about the world. It's so bad. Anyway, yeah, and anyway, we had all of these events, and I was like doing all these interviews, and it's been really, really cool. And then the end was they call it here a demo, and which means demonstration, which was like basically a walking march all around the Schöneberg neighborhood of Berlin on September 6th. And it was fucking amazing. We were so loud. We mustered a crowd of like 200 to 300, I think, sex workers, which means that legally we were allowed to block off the entire street, and there were cops all around us. But here, since this job is not illegal, I can, stomp around, and it's no longer illegal. We were re-legalized in September, early September. So the bordellos haven't opened yet. They're still waiting another week, I think, but progress is being made. People finally realize that with some sort of hygiene concept, like whores pose no more of a pandemic threat to society than like tattoo artists and possibly hairdressers. So the government did come around in the Berlin area, the Berlin federal state, and there are some of the wealthier states that are still like yet to get on the boat, but we're still mad about it because it was an excuse for a lot of people in positions of power to say a lot of really horrible things, and it completely exposed all the prejudices about sex work, which is why we had a fucking 200 to 300 person demonstration where we all yelled really loud and made the police super uncomfortable. I'm gonna share the photos from the demo of a dance piece I did, and I was so busy like getting the demo to helping the demo to happen that I did not ask anyone to film it, which I am now like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Because it was sort of a reprise of the Bridge to Saint Nazaire, which was the piece that I did last December. And it was my first live performance in Berlin, and it wasn't recorded. So it's like, oops, social media, fuck. But everyone who was there absolutely loved it. And it was so nice performing to a live fucking audience, especially an audience of sex workers who hoop and holler, and they're like, woohoo, yeah, Ernestine. And it was just so loving and beautiful. And man, yeah, this community here is like vibrant and gorgeous, and I love them so much. So I'm not going to rant on for too long. Suffice it to say, I'm still here, as I always say. Like, I'm sorry for neglecting you. And I do have plans as the fall rolls in to start doing more spontaneous outdoor live free performances for the people of Berlin that will be filmed. For all of you sweet people who've actually hung in there and stayed patrons even though I've been fucking absent, and I'm so grateful to all of you, because for some reason, and he didn't communicate why, but I lost my very first patron, who was a $50 a month patron, and that was like a gut punch, because I had been communicating with him like really often the whole time he was a patron, which was like a year and a half. So to have him disappear made me really super sad. And the reason that I hadn't been filming a lot of ballet was because the ankle, just couldn't do it. So yeah, I had a lot of like dark night of the soul conversations with people who love me, who were like, you keep trying to do things on it and it keeps getting re-sprained, and you need to fucking back off. So I backed way the fuck off. And yeah, no, she's doing all right. Still, we're still going slow. The thing about dance is the foot is, wow, I have a whole newfound respect for the foot because of the amount of directions it intricately moves and can balance in. That's why there are so many bones in there. It's just like, yeah, so I can only balance, my ankle only has flexibility in certain directions, which is really difficult when you're improving or even doing set choreography, because like if you slightly start to lose your balance, then your foot needs to compensate by moving all of those like metacarpals in like this direction slightly, or this angle. And angles are really difficult for me right now. Like, I can flex and point, and getting that mobility back has been fantastic, wonderful, amazing. We're celebrating small victories here, Shay Ernestine. And so the full range of I just really need to be dialed into my body and being safe, which is something that I'm historically horrible at. So working on that again, checking in with people, asking if they're okay, as I mentioned earlier, asking, hey you down there, is she all right, you know, whatever. I'm so absurd. Sorry about the noises. Yeah, so life, interesting, activism, full steam ahead, and now that's calmed down, thankfully. We're taking a little break, things are returning to normal, we're taking a beat to make some fucking money so we can fucking feed ourselves and fucking, you know, keep our houses. But tomorrow I'm going to a protest held by What the Fuck, which is an amazing anti-Christian fundamentalist feminist group here that does an annual counter-protest to the annual anti-abortion protests. That was a mouthful. So we're having a sex work specific, there are like 6 different demos around the main demo at Brandenburger Tor, and there's one that's specific to sex work, so I have to go do that tomorrow, or rather I get to go do that tomorrow. It's so fun being an activist. I spoke at a like anti-gentrification rally. It's just been fucking amazing. Like Berlin is like this simmering cauldron of anger, and like we had all these problems before, and now I think similar to in the US, it's just like we've had it with this shit. Like we're going to be much louder than we were before because we all have this like lockdown angst that we need to get rid of somehow, and let's protest all the things that are really pissing us off. So all of the organizations are having their protests like lined up in a row in September, and it's just kind of wild, and being an activist can be such a full-time job so easily, and one has to be careful. Luckily I'm working with really wonderful people, and there's no drama. I mean, knock on wood, there's no drama yet, which was not the case in Boston. By the time I left Boston, everyone in the activist scene fucking hated me for being white and having money. Did I have money when I left Boston with like $300 in my bank? Anyway. Water under the bridge, ancient history. Yes, so I'm still fine. No corona. Ankle's getting better. Getting back my muse, and see y'all somewhere interesting next. So hopefully very, very soon. Okay. Mwah. All my love to you, and I hope that you're weathering things well, especially if you're living in a crazy place like California. Okay. Ciao.